Well, hello everyone. This is Gina. Thanks so much for stopping by. It has been quite a while since I posted, and I first want to say thank you so much for everybody who is still subscribed to my channel, even though it has been a while. But I have been busy, actually, and I just wanted to give you an update of what I've been doing. I told you in a previous video that I've really been into watercoloring. My channel is not a watercolor channel. It's not really anything specific. I know most of you are paper crafters, but it started out as an art channel. But then I found paper crafting and I was like, ooh, this is a lot of fun and I love it. But I've done all kinds of things from watercolor. I started out in acrylics. I've tried polymer clay and just a variety of different things because I just like to try new things. So yeah, so you'll just see a variety of videos on this channel. I'm not dedicated to one specific type of art or craft. So this is what I've been up to. I started doing these, I believe, in December. I know it was over winter. And I can't remember whose video it was. Makes me think maybe Shayna Cersei. I watch her channel a lot. This was back in December, so yep, don't know. This is me just off on my own trying to do something, which does not usually turn out very well. But I loved how these turned out, and I wish I would have recorded the video when I was doing it. They didn't all turn out, but I just really enjoy how some of these came out, and you'll see later when I tried to do it again recently, it looks awful. So I wish I would have recorded my process when I did that, because now I don't even remember how I did it, but I probably followed somebody's video. That was over the winter. But since then, I really got into gnomes. Now this I do see a lot on Shayna's channel, Shayna Cersei. And I know this was her design I saw from her video. I drew it out and then I used my light box to trace it out, and then I did the watercolor over it. It's just one of the favorite pieces that I've done, and it just sits here by my light, and so I can look at it all the time. It helps me with my watercolor inspiration. I thought that was adorable. But I've done others. Here's one I just did recently for Mother's Day. It didn't get sent, but I just thought it was really, really cute. And here's one I did for spring. I dropped my brush and it made those two little marks. I got to figure out exactly how I want to tie it in. I don't have shadows or anything, but I thought it was really cute. And this one for St. Patrick's Day, I thought he was a cutie. Now this was a card for Valentine's Day I made my husband, and I thought that turned out really cute as well. And I did just get through making a lot of Mother's Day cards, and I only took pictures of a couple, and if I think about it, I will put them up right now so that you can see them. But unfortunately, I didn't take a picture of all the ones I did. This is one, and it was not a Mother's Day card, but it was a You're in My Thoughts Today. It was an anniversary of the loss of a loved one, of a relative. I redid it because I didn't like my writing. Speaking of, I would love to learn calligraphy. If you guys have a favorite calligraphy channel, please leave the name of that channel in the messages below, and so I can check them out, because yeah, you know, you make a really cute little image and then you have crappy looking writing. That's just not cool. So I would love to learn the basics. Make sure it's a very beginner friendly channel, because that's where I am. I just did this past week. I saw a picture online and I drew it out and used my light box and worked on painting it. I always feel like it's not done. Most of these I think are not done, like I need to do something else to them. But it's still really cute, I thought. And here's some little flowers coming out of boots. I've been trying to practice working on a bigger canvas. A lot of the paintings I do are small. Like these I just did a few days ago. And they're 3 by 3, 3 inches by 3 inches. So I have been trying to push myself to work on a larger scale, and sometimes it works out. This isn't so bad, and then sometimes it just doesn't. So here are some bluebirds with their big fat bellies. I mean, you know, They're very illustrative, but you know, they're cute, I guess, in their own way. I have gone much bigger, and I got this spiral bound book, and so I had the beginnings of like a poppy field, but again, I put it aside to let it dry, and then I just haven't gotten back to it. Here's another one that I started, and that is probably from a video that could have been Nia Niani. I watch her channel a lot too. I absolutely love her art style, her watercolor style. Or Diane Anton. I love her channel, and she is very just free-flowing, and she makes everything look so easy. Does not always work for me, but practice is everything. This may have been Karen Rice. Sometimes I watch her as well. And this is one I have that just sits up where I see it every time I come into my studio. And half the days I think, you know, I kind of like it. And then the other half I think, that is just rubbish. So, I don't know. It just depends on my mood, I think. But for a first try, I don't think it was horrible. Everything I do needs improvement, but yeah, I mean, it was okay. Now, watching Shayna's channel had me inspired to start a watercolor journal. I got 2 of these Arteza watercolor journal books, gosh, probably a couple of Christmases ago. One I use for mixed media. When I do journal pages, it's usually in that. But this is just for me. I've not filmed any of these. I'll share them with you. Some of them I like. Some of them are just yuck. But that's the point of a journal. It's just to try things. You know, I'm learning and I'm trying and experimenting, and that's what you use the journal for. So, you know, it is what it is. It's funny, I think the first couple I started out pretty well, and then I started to get more experimental and things, you know, took a turn. But a lot of these are probably from video inspirations from either Diane, Shayna, possibly Harriet at DeWitt and Paper Co., Nia, if there's drawings in here. I watch Michelle from the Creative Cove a lot, and I love her channel as well. So those tend to be where I draw my inspirations from these days. But you know how that is, that changes. So I think this was from Diane's video or something similar. This one I actually think turned out really, really well. That just happens to be one of my favorites. I love the bees, and these are definitely Diane's bees. Can't remember who was doing these videos, but I was watching that. Could have been Karen Rice. This one I never even pulled the tape off of. I just didn't like how this turned out. I never finished it. And this one, just a cityscape, and it's not complete, as you can see, but I do sometimes come up here and I'll pick it up and just start filling it in. So this one is definitely a work in progress. I'm still working on it. This may have been inspired by a Shayna Cersei video. I kind of liked how that turned out. I'm not crazy about what I did on the trunk, but this part I really, really like. I just love the bold colors. And this one, I kind of like that too. Can't remember whose video that was from, but I was just trying to experiment using a larger brush, using a bigger canvas, and you know, I like it okay. It's not bad. A bunch of little flowers, and it's okay. This one I did really like. I've got some berry marks over here. But overall, I thought it was a pretty cute little layout. This one was a lot of fun. It just has an interesting perspective, you know, looking up, being in the woods. And that came out kind of cute. This is one of my favorites. And I can't remember, this may have been a Diane inspiration. I love how the sky came out, the water, the sand, and little boats. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a couple, you know, little birds, little seagulls. And that one makes me happy when I look at it. This is definitely one of my favorites. This was a Diane inspired one. I'm not quite done with this one either. I keep coming back and adding the little white bits on the tips and the lines, and so this is what I come back to. This is, I don't like it at all. This paint, you know, shimmers, and I wanted to play with that, but I don't like what I did. I just don't like this one at all. This one I enjoy because of the bold colors. It's just engaging to me with the eye because it's just so full of color. This one, I really didn't like it all when I started, but I really like it now. I like how it turned out. Here's another one, another beach scene. And I like this one pretty well also. I didn't tape around it, as you can see, so the edges are very uneven. But overall, I like it. This one, no, not so much. I started out with the little dragonflies and then added the crow, which the crow's okay, but my bunny needs help. Yeah, it's not one of my favorite ones. And this was just playing. I don't like it or dislike it. It just is what it is. Here's where I tried to recreate this smaller one, and it did not work. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like, what are these? Oh gosh, I can't remember. I don't really remember the process, and I don't like how that turned out at all. Poppies. So I'd seen a few videos on poppies and wanted to try, and I like these okay. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're not bad, I don't think. For me, anyway. Here's another one, and I like doing these just because it's just big strokes and you're blending a sky, and it's just something relaxing to do. So I enjoy making these like beach scenes. The only thing I messed up with is my island. It's too big in the wrong shape. I don't like how that turned out. But as for the birds and the boat and even the sky, there's a couple little blooms here, so yeah. But, you know, it's okay. This, I think, is absolutely adorable. I love how he turned out. Yeah, I had drawn him out in a sketch, but I thought, oh my gosh, it was just so fun, and he's big. It's on this big paper. I thought that turned out really cute, and it is one of my favorites. Yeah, this is me on my own, so yeah, okay. If you're doing watercolor or any kind of art, sometimes you hit a really ugly stage where you're like, oh my gosh, this is just horrendous. But usually if you keep going, it improves. And I think I just stopped at this stage and I look at it and go, ugh. So, of course I can come back to it and work on it. And maybe I'll be in the mood to do that one day, but this is how it looks right now. This one I really liked how it came out. And I want to say this was a Shayna Cersei video. You guys, if I'm misquoting, feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm just trying to do this from memory. Anybody who knows me knows that that's pretty funny. But yeah, I think it's interesting, and I love the monochromatic look. This one turned out really nice. This was either Diane, well, I don't know. It could have been Diane, Harriet at DeWinton Paper Co, Nia from Nia Niani. So yeah, I can't remember where I got this one. Could have been Shayna yeah, it might have been Shayna actually. Yeah, I could see really any of them doing this, so I'm not really sure, but yeah, it came out okay. And I really liked how this one came out as well. On its own with just the poppies, it didn't look that great, but when I started adding the other yellow flowers, I think that kind of really helped bring it together. Kind of like this one. This was just experimenting with dragonflies. A lot of videos cover dragonflies, and I just wanted to play around. They're kind of fun. And here's some bluebirds, and I want to say this came from a Diane video, and that's okay. Yeah, I really like this one. I'm sure there was probably some inspiration somewhere. And this makes me think Diane, but could have also been Shayna. I kind of like both of these. This one's okay. This, it was a Shayna maybe, where she did the 3, and it's just exploring, just backgrounds really. This one made me think of maybe mountains peeking out, but it was fun. Now this, I tried to recreate the previous big tree picture. I wanted one where I didn't do the trunk, but I don't really like how the top came out as much. Now granted, I could go over it, add on another layer, and that would probably help. This was, I know, from a Diane video, and hers came out much better than mine. But I tried. This was just a hot mess. I wanted to try to do different types of flowers And this one I kind of keep working on too. I had done this a while back, and just last night I went and added the dark blue. This was a Shayna Cersei video. It's not exactly like hers, but it's very similar. And I just love gnomes. They're just fun. They're not very hard to do. And they usually turn out really cute. It's a great go-to thing to paint when you want to paint something but not sure what. Paint a gnome, because they're just super cute. And this, I know, is from a Nia Niani video. I just did this one last night, and it's not quite done. Like most of mine are not quite done. I love how this pumpkin came out. The stems are okay. Her flowers and stuff around were like way better. So I have to work on that. And then while I was doing that and letting things dry, I wanted to play with this cat's tongue. And so I was using that to lay down water, help create my shapes, and then just dropping in some color. So I'd play around on this page while things were drying on this page. And that's where it ends. So tonight or tomorrow or whenever I can come in and I will keep going on my watercolor journal. As far as watercolor goes, that's what I've been doing. So you might think, okay, well those are great, but I can't draw. Well, you know what? Neither can I. I don't have a natural talent for drawing. I can draw, and you can too. It just takes a lot of erasing. Like almost every line you see, I will have erased 5 or 10 times before I got it to look right. That's why sketching is helpful, because it's not just one line. You're just kind of sketching, and usually one of those lines will be the right one to give the form the right look. So start out sketching. Don't try to just use one single line. Just sketch. And again, like anything you do, in any kind of art, craft, or whatever, you have to practice. You can't just say, well, I can't draw well, and then you never practice. Well, you will never be able to draw then. So I can't draw, but I try. I practice. And I have got pads and pads of where I just take my time and I'm drawing. I'll look up something or see a picture on the internet, either on my phone or on my computer, and I'll just sit and try to trace it out and draw it. Look, there's a cicada, because the cicadas are insane right now. Not a great cicada, but there you go. I was trying. Some type of cow. Right, this was an idea I had. Show like what's happening underground. There's an underground door, and I mean, I'm just trying. So sometimes you can use inspiration. I pull things up online, and sometimes I just try to freehand it and see what I can come up with. Now when it comes to, like, that's scary. When it comes to animals and birds and certain things like that, then yeah, I need a reference. And look how cute that little guy turned out. Isn't he cute? But here's a little squirrel. I think I tried to do on my own, and it looks like a cartoon, but that's okay. Again, working with some bigger art. Sometimes it's very cartoony. Sometimes it looks a little more realistic. Of course, you know, there's gnomes because they're just so fun. These were from Christmas, and I did paint those. But I've got all kinds of gnomes. Look, there's a Santa Claus. It's a superhero. Because why not? Santa is a superhero. So you could tell I was doing a lot of this while it was over the holidays. There I was trying a frog. So some are successful and some aren't. The bunny came out okay. The toe shoes, yeah, they need work. I really like how this one came out. I don't know if you can see, but I erased all over this thing. I erased so many times. This one I know came from Michelle, the Creative Cove. I know she did a video where she drew a boat, and I was trying to follow that. And I love these trees. These trees are made by just scribbling. These are just scribble trees, and they're just so much fun to make, and I like how they turn out. It's just a different type of style, and I just really like it. I have a book that has a bunch of different plants in it, and you know, some are freestyle, some, you know, like, especially if I had their name down, that I was trying to draw, you know, use that book as an inspiration. Bees, different types of flowers, little mushroom houses, puppy dogs. Yeah, so there's just all kinds of stuff. But I have just a ton of these around. I have some gnomes. I try to draw gnomes for each season, for each holiday. Here's a little gnome at the beach. I thought he turned out really cute. And that just, it cracked me up. I thought, why not give him a big smile? That made me laugh. Just play around. I've got books and books downstairs, and this is just some I have upstairs. Here's the basis for the picture I showed you earlier that I painted, the watercolor with coming out of the boots. I haven't yet painted this one, and I want to. Ant, pig, that was from a picture online. That was from Shayna, I think, or Nia. There's where I sketched out what I was going to do for my husband's Valentine's Day card. So that's where that sketch came from. Some little doodle people. There's my little bunny I sketched out. Cows. Somebody help me learn how to draw a cow. Or paint a cow. Look. Yeah. Again, I think I stopped at the ugly stage, and I think this definitely has potential if I keep going, but I don't know. I love cows. My grandparents had cows. I don't know why I can't seem to draw a cow that looks decent. It drives me nuts, but the point is, I will keep trying. I keep sketch pads around, I keep pencils, and definitely erasers. I've got kneaded erasers upstairs and downstairs. You can do it as well. If you want to get better at anything, you have to practice. If you're still here, I hope that is the message you take from everything I've shown you. Some things turned out well and others didn't. Some of this looks terrible. But you know what? You have to keep practicing, and that's what I keep telling myself. I want to be able to draw well. I want to be able to paint well. I hope this gives you some idea as to what I've been doing. If you think you would be interested in seeing a watercolor video, then let me know. If you're a beginner, maybe you would be, because I'm a beginner too, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. But it's one of those things, I don't want to kill my channel because nobody watches it. So I'm just kind of leery about putting too many watercolor videos up. They don't typically do well, and that can affect the overall performance of my channel. So unfortunately, that's one of those things I have to consider. That's what I'm doing. Again, thank you for all of those people who have stuck with me. And I will be posting a paper crafting video very soon. It will be my next video. So thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.